Hi.
Disclaimer. After finishing my numbers for the month and seeing how badly I really did, I decided to commiserate with a few shots of whiskey. Please keep this in mind if I seem sloppy.
Guess who? It's me. Anyway, so let's go. Let's get into it. The title of the video is What Sold in December 2021 for over $150. And this time, so if you're here watching, you most likely watched my What Sold in November video where I had a $9,000 month selling 60 items, and that was really, really good. It was one of my top selling periods ever. This month is a bit of a different story. I sold 50 items, but my total was only $5,770 compared to $9,141. So that is going to equal a much lower average sales price. So I made less money. But you know, that is okay. You can't really blame yourself too much for bad months. It's a lot about seasonality. And one thing that I have taken away from it is that next year for December in general, I will try to acquire more new with tags items that people like to give as gifts, like I guess mainly it would be like coats and sweaters. So I will strive for that next year. But you guys want to know what I sold this month for over $150. So let me just tell you real quick though, just compared to last month, just since it was like a really good month, it's like kind of good to compare it to. My average sales price last month was $152. My average sales price this month is $115. My average take-home net profit after cost of goods and fees and everything, this is the money I'm making on top of everything, my take-home profit that I'm making from the business. Last month, my average profit per item was $83.42, and this month it is $59.70. So I sold 50 items for about $60 profit each. So anyway, and let me tell you, I felt that too, because I am not somebody who is like Recloth Collection or Arbitrage with Amber, who has another full-time job and this is just a side hustle. I am not someone who, and I've come to terms with this, and I've learned, I'm not somebody who can have a full-time job and come home at get home at 6 p.m. and then start another side hustle. It drains me a lot to do things that I don't want to do, as in work for someone else. That I very much envy people like that. Like, how great would it be to already have a full-time job where you're making 35, 40, 50, 60,000 plus dollars a year, and then you're making like, another 30, 40, 50, 60 whatever thousand on top of that. Like, that's so great. And I wish that I had that kind of work ethic and just inner strive for that. I wish I could wake up at 8 a.m. every morning and just be like, let's hit it. But that's just not me. And between you and me, I've quite literally, except for maybe 2 or 3, been fired from every job that I have had. Every job that's at a company where I sit at a desk and I need to be there at a certain time, I've been fired. And it's not because I'm not smart, but I don't like working for someone else. Anyway, all this to say that when you do work for yourself, every hour, every day that you spend equals the money that you make. And it's a hard lesson to learn. if you don't put in the work, and it's not even like, this isn't even the work I put in December that is reflecting in the December numbers, right? It's a work that I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago that is reflecting now. So it's hard. It's a hard thing to get used to, especially when you first start reselling and you've had a really good month and you're like, ooh, this is how it's gonna be from now on. And then you have like a bad month or 2 or 4 or 5. It can be really hard and you're like, what am I doing wrong? And you know, you learn from your mistakes. That's what life is all about. Mistakes are good even though they feel terrible. So that's a lesson that I took away from this December in particular. But let's get into what actually sold for $150 or more in December 2021. Let's start at $150 and we will end at the highest sale. Okay, so at number 1, selling for $150 on Poshmark were these Stella McCartney Elise check cutout platform shoes. These are just really cool. Like, how often do you see a shoe like this? I found these at Pavement, which is a local consignment store that is only here in Texas and Austin and Houston. And if you watch my Instagram, you know all about Pavement, I'm sure. So I got these at Pavement for $50 and I decided to buy them at that price because they retail for like $1,200, I think. And so to me, that's like amazing. And this sale definitely falls in the category of, if I could have held these until spring, because this feels like a really springtime shoe, right? If I could have held them until spring, I bet I could have sold them for maybe even $100 more. But since I was having a slow sales month, I did accept a lot of lower offers, which definitely reflects in my average sales price. And if I had a much larger closet, like a lot of you may be watching here, or if you're a smaller or newer reseller, you've just seen a lot of people that preach about having 400 to 500 to 700 active listings in your closet at one time. I hover around 150, so I can't really be holding like a big chunk of stuff for the spring. You know, it's just, if I can still make a good profit, a decent profit on it now that isn't going to like drag down my ASP too much, then I feel like it's the smart decision to just take that offer. So with that being said, I took a $150 offer on Poshmark for these. So I ended up netting $70 on these, which is really good for one flip. If I could net $70 on everything that I flipped, that would be really nice. So our number 11 is going to be this new without tag Chloe braided denim center slit pencil skirt. This was a pretty small size, a size 34. This is definitely going to be like a whoops moment. I only profited $44.80 on these, and I paid $86 for them at an Uptown cheapskate store. And I guess I just learned a lesson, period. I kind of was under the assumption that Chloe would sell a lot better than C by Chloe, and I think the reality is that neither one of those really sell for that much. I don't know. It just seems like Chloe would sell for a lot, but I've never really seen much that's been a super great flip from that brand. I'm sure there is some stuff, but got them for $86, sold for on eBay $162. So made about $45 from those. So that's okay. But number 10, I do really like these, and if you saw my video from last week, you will know all about these. You will see the footage from when I actually saw them in the store. It was these Dr. Martens Color Shift Opalescent 1460 Vegan Purple Heather Lilac Boot. I might as well read you the entire title that I put there with all those keywords. So I definitely paid up for these at $65, but when I looked at the sold comps and the available comps, I knew that these would sell well because the sell-through rate was bonkers. There were so many sold listings, and I don't think there were any available listed, maybe like one or two in a different size. Actually, I think there was one available listing, but it was in a women's size 5. So that is like the hardest size to sell. Like even size 6 is like totally fine, but size 5 is like, rarely do people have that small of a foot. Anyways, mine were not. They were like size 8 or something. But I sold them on $180 on eBay. I had them listed for $205. I got an offer for $180, which I considered for a second just because of the demand. But I went ahead and took it because it gave me a net profit of $91.48, which is really, really good. Really good profit. My number 9 was also sold on eBay, and is also one of my favorite brands to resell because I've never had an item from this brand stay in my closet for more than a week. It was the newest tag, Aviator Nation 5-stripe fleece hoodie in jungle green and neon rainbow stripe. I paid up $48 for this, but it was basically a similar situation to the Doc Martens. And when I looked these up, I realized that it was actually a really, really recent style from like last year, but they were sold out on the website already. So I basically asked retail price for them, and somebody paid full price retail price. So I think they were actually retailed at $189, and I had priced them at $185. And somebody bought it 2 days after I listed for full price of $185. So my net profit on that Aviator Nation hoodie was $112.84, which is absolutely amazing. If you ever get Aviator Nation, please price it high. Please price it high and just take offers worst case, because that stuff, that Aviator Nation is like crack to people. It's crazy. My number 8, we're already at number 8. Next month better be a banger.
Is it a banger?
I tell you right now, it better be a banger. The newest tag, Reformation Mara blue velvet midi dress. So I bought this online arbitrage. You probably saw it in my online arbitrage hauls from a few weeks ago. I paid up $85 for it. I ended up selling it on eBay for $190. And so my net profit was $73.78, which, like, it's only a profit margin of about 40%, which probably sounds a little bad because it's under 50. Like, I didn't even double my money, right? But like I said before, if my average sales price or my average net profit, two very different numbers, my average net profit per item was $73, I would be very successful. So that's nothing to be sad about, and it sold in 12 days too. So there's really nothing to complain about there overall. And if you don't source online very much or ever and you haven't seen my videos, then please go back and look at those. They're just from 2 or 3 weeks ago. My number 7 was this Isabel Marant Iris alpaca and merino wool chunky oversized funnel sweater. Funnel refers to the neck, if you've ever seen that before. So I got this at Buffalo Exchange, my day one boo. I got it for $55. It did take a little while to sell, but this was the main Isabel Marant line. It wasn't like Etoile Isabel Marant or any other diffusion line. It was in excellent condition. It was made of alpaca, and it had the most beautiful weave in it. It was like a cotton candy, like a multicolor, like blue, pink, purple dream. It was really nice, and it retailed for like around, I don't know, $600, $700. I had it priced at $385, and I got an offer on Poshmark for $200, which I decided to take because I only paid $55, and that would give me a net profit of $105. So I don't really again, like nothing to complain about there. That's actually an insane price. Like $55 for an Isabel Marant alpaca like sweater is insane. That's really good. My number 6 is a brand that I had never heard before, but it was on my last video, the Thrift With Me at Buffalo Exchange video. These are the Jamie Haller Atha Leather Slipper Flat. And I bought these for $33 at Buffalo Exchange. So I talk about it way more in my last video, but a few different things come together when you know that you should buy something that's from an indie brand that you've never heard of before. And when I say indie, that stands for independent brand. So it's not like a H&M or a J. Crew or Reformation. So it's like a little independent brand that is not run by a major corporation. And these things that you want to look for, again, I talk about it more in my last video, but things you want to look for is these particular were still for sale on the Jamie Haller website and Garmentory for full price of $390. But this particular size was sold out. And these were in very good condition and they were very well crafted. So I decided to pick them up. And I had priced them at $300 and someone sent me an offer on Poshmark for $200. It only took it was less than a week it took actually, which I love when I take risks like this and it pays off. So $200 offer minus fees is $160, and then minus my cost of goods of $33 yielded me a net profit of $127. So it is really good to take calculated risks sometimes if the price is right. Okay, number 5 was this new without tag Roland Mouret Katana halter wool maxi dress. I bought this at an Uptown Cheapskate for $78. It retailed for a lot. I don't put retail prices here in my spreadsheet, but I want to say it retailed at like $800 or something. This dress was 100% wool. It was super cute. It was like a halter that kind of had like the bodice of kind of like a vest that you would wear underneath a tuxedo. When I looked at comps, it was actually worn by Lily Reinhart to an event, and I definitely added her name. I added Riverdale as a keyword, and I added the picture of her wearing it in the cover photo. And I had this for a little while, for 94 days, still not that bad, but I got an offer on eBay for $201. So I accepted that, and I ended up making a profit of $75.77. So I spent $78, I got back like $76. So it's not like it's like nothing to write home about, but I doubled my money, so that is always good. And this is a really good selling brand too. Like, that's the thing, is like, now that I would have never heard about this brand, but now that I just happened to run into it at this store and I sold it for myself, like now I kind of feel like I know something about this brand, and I feel like that will be good later on when I can apply that knowledge to maybe a future purchase. Number 4 was one of my favorite dresses that I've sourced. It was this Kate Spade Raw Panther striped jewel tone runway midi dress, and I put runway in the title because this was actually featured in the Kate Spade runway show. Yes, Kate Spade does have runway shows. And I actually purchased this from the Real for $80, and I priced it for $215 on eBay, and it sold for full price on eBay for $215. So I made about $100 net profit on this item. So that's really, really good. I wish that I could make a net profit of $100. Can you imagine that? Like, sell 4 things in a day, profit $400. So it was just really cute. Like, I loved the little panthers at the bottom of the dress. Who wouldn't love that? I wonder where that person wore that dress.
Who would play her?
Okay, top 3. Number 3, you saw this in one of my last videos. This was a very successful online arbitrage purchase. These were the Jenny Kane cotton crossover padded leather sandals. I bought these on Mercari for $80 and I sold them for $220 on Poshmark. They even had a flaw and they still sold for that much. So that gave me earnings of $176, and after my cost of goods subtracted from that, my net profit from those little sandals was $96. So again, really, really good. Number 2 was also an online arbitrage find, was this new with tag Misa Juliana pleated long sleeve midi dress. And I put tie-dye in the title as well because it looked tie-dye to me. And I purchased this on, I believe, it was either Mercari or Depop for $60. And it sold in 9 days on Tradesy for, you know, full asking price. My asking price was $235. So I made a net profit after those steep Tradesy fees. I still made a net profit of $116.98. So Misa is such a great brand.
Misa honey.
Like, it's rare that I have something from them that doesn't sell within 2 weeks. Yeah, really, really good brand. And you can even pay up $60 for it online and make $100 on it. So, and then my top sale for this month was actually something from my own closet. It still counts. It's just that my cost of goods was $0 because I didn't pay anything. I didn't source it for the company, right? I bought it last year to wear last winter, and I did. But this year I splurged on the Mara Hoffman coat for myself. I'll put a picture up here. I had wanted this coat for a while, and then someone finally posted one on Poshmark and sent me an offer of $200, so I took it because these sell for like $400 because they're kind of rare because nobody wants to give them up. And after finally getting it and seeing how lovely it was, like, it feels like a jacket made of pillows. It's so great and I love it. So I was like, I should sell my coat from last year to just even things out and not be such a jacket whore because I have a lot of jackets. So I sold this Johnny Was Azalea Silver Scroll Sapphire Blue Velvet Puffer Jacket. Again, my cost of goods was $0. I listed it for $335 and ended up taking an offer on eBay for $240. So my net profit, because there was no cost of goods, was about $195. So that was nice. I mean, it's always nice when you can get that much back for something that you bought. I mean, I bought it for less than that because I bought it straight from the Johnny Was store, actually. So that was a fun experience, really fun experience too. I just bought it for myself, just to treat myself at the actual Johnny Was store, which is like, on one hand a sweet memory, and on the other hand it's like, you're like, you idiot, why didn't you just get something from Poshmark for a lot less? But hey, it's a fun memory. So anyways, that was my top sales of this past month, and it wasn't as great as last month, but that is okay. I look forward to being able to have like at least 25 plus sales that were over $150 for this coming month of January when I do my next video, you know, at the end of this month. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please consider subscribing and liking or commenting or anything. Tell me what your favorite thing was, or, you know, what's your favorite color, or what did you do yesterday, or just really anything. I'm just really enjoying all the comments and the interactions, and we're riding this thing till the end. So I will see you guys next week for the next video on Tuesday. Peace out, fashion lovers.